Hey guys, so recently a new law has been issued out by Philadelphia on wholesaling, and we can expect to see similar actions take place in other states as well. So some states like Illinois and Oklahoma already have laws set in place with wholesaling, and it's all due to unethical practice by wholesalers, and also they want to protect the homeowners. Now, not every wholesaler practice unethical stuff, but as the industry gets bigger, we could see things taking place where they have to make regulations, rules, laws to prevent certain things from happening. So for those of you who are interested in getting started in wholesaling real estate, make sure you stick around because this video is going to be beneficial before you start your wholesaling business. Guys, my name is George McPherson. I'm a real estate investor and coach. I've done fix and flips, I have rental properties, I have Airbnbs, and I've done JVs as well. So for the best real estate advice, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you smash that notification bell as well, just to be notified every Thursday when I drop a new video. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Starting January 2021, wholesalers are now going to be required to have a license in Philadelphia. Now, this is not all bad because this is a way to weed out the ones that are practicing unethical stuff. Like, deceiving homeowners, lying to them, giving misrepresented value or evaluation or information. So those are the things that wholesalers or the industry is facing just because of a few bad apples. Now, the person that's in charge of this whole movement to begin with, where the law was set in place, they believe that homeowners have the right to get fair market value for their house. And that's not all completely wrong. However, when you're talking about fair market value towards what? A lot of these properties are distressed properties that wholesalers are actually going in and help distressed owners that are about to lose their properties or can't afford to fix up the property to get fair market value to begin with. And a lot of times these agents are not going into these properties to list them. These agents are looking for properties that are ready to be listed to begin with. So there has been this long tension between wholesalers and agents because wholesalers make more money than actual agents. So say for instance, a real estate agent is selling a house for $200,000. Now, typically the seller is gonna pay all the commissions on that property, and it's typically 6%. So you have the agent that's representing the seller and the agent that's representing the buyer. Each agent is gonna get 3% because they're gonna split that 6%. So you're looking at each agent that's gonna be making $6,000 on that deal. Now, they don't completely get all that $6,000. They still have to pay fees to their brokers that they're with. So if they're with Keller Williams, they have to pay a brokerage fee. Whoever they're with, they have to pay a brokerage fee, right? So they're making less than that $6,000. Now, on that same property, if you have a wholesaler that comes in and they have a contract on that house for $200,000, and now they go ahead and find a buyer for $215,000, they're wholesaling off that deal and they make a $15,000 profit, right? They don't have to pay any commissions. They don't have to pay any fees to any brokerage. They're getting a $15,000 an assignment. And that's why real estate agents and wholesalers have this tension, because a lot of times the wholesalers can make a lot more than the agent, and in some cases make more than both of them combined. Now, wholesalers don't only experience tension from real estate agents. They also experience tension from real estate investors and homeowners. So with a real estate investor, when it comes down to knowing your numbers, when getting involved in wholesaling, you have to make sure you're practicing your numbers and you know how to submit numbers. A lot of these wholesalers, the ones that are being unethical, are sending numbers over that are 90%, sometimes 100% of market value, which makes no sense for a real estate investor. A lot of times when I get emails from wholesalers, they'll send me over numbers and those numbers don't even look right. And if they don't look right, I either ask them the question, why are you sending me numbers like this to begin with? Or I say, how do you come up with your numbers? Now for me, I look at the ARV and I automatically look at certain things, the comps that they sent over. And automatically when I see a comp that a wholesaler sent over If that comp is 2 miles out, then it draws a red flag right away. Okay, so when you're dealing with an investor, there's certain things that you want to know. And that means that most investors want properties that are 75% or less loan to value, right? Some may go up a little bit more, but most of them, they want 75% or less loan to value. And that includes rehab costs, right? Because at the end of the day, these investors are going in, they're taking all of the risks, and they have to make a profit at the end of the day as well. So when you're sending over your deals to investors, make sure that you know your numbers and you're not creating tension between you and the investor if you're doing wholesaling by sending over deals that are 90% of market value and the house needs a complete rehab. That is not right, that is not ethical, and by no way, no means an investor is gonna sign off on that deal or purchase that deal. Now, when it comes to homeowners, the tension even rises more, because some of these homeowners don't understand the process. Some of the times a person might inherit a property and it's the first time they're selling a property and they don't know the laws or the process of it all. And I remember when I was selling my first home, at the time, I did not realize that I was dealing with a wholesaler, but a wholesaler came in and tried to wholesale my house, and we were all happy. We were happy that we were getting full price for our house. And 30 days come around and we don't hear from him. We have to call him. And at the time, we were so green in our investing, right? We were so green in our investing that we didn't know what was going on at the time. We didn't know what wholesaling was. So imagine you going into a person's property. They're already experiencing hardship because they can't maybe fix the property. They may be behind on their taxes or their mortgage, and they need a way out of that property. And you're going in as a buyer saying that you're gonna promise them to close on their property within 30 days. Now, by you not closing on the property, these people already are packing up their stuff. They're making plans to move. They probably go out and sign a lease for somewhere. And now you come back and tell them that, I'm sorry, Mr. or Mrs. whoever, I can't close on your property. Versus you tell them, being upfront, that you're a third party in the whole transaction and you're not the actual buyer. Okay, a lot of times wholesalers are going in and they're saying that they're the actual buyer for the house when they are not, and it creates this tension between buyers and the wholesalers because they're being lied to. They're getting false information, and then that's where a lot of the laws are coming in place to protect homeowners from all these stuff that are happening. So I know it sounds like I'm saying a lot of negative about wholesalers, but they are needed when it comes to real estate. They are needed in the industry. They do a lot of work, guys, a lot of work that the agents are not doing, that the investors are not doing, and they're actually helping the distressed sellers when it comes to their properties. Think about the people that are in foreclosure, that are looking for a way out, the people that are about to get kicked out of their homes because they're backed up on mortgage payments or tax liens, or somebody that needs to sell their property fast because they need money right away and they need to close on that property fast. So when it comes to wholesalers, they're going in and they're creating a solution between a distressed seller and someone that's coming in to purchase the property to revitalize the neighborhood as well, right? So as far as the laws that Philadelphia are coming out with, there's 6 stipulations to this law that they're coming out with. The first one is that you're gonna have to have a license. Now, you're gonna have to pay $200 for that license, and you don't have to take a test. Now, that's the major difference between you being a real estate agent, where an agent, they have to go through a process, take a test, they have to get qualified, they have to know the rules and regulations. Versus with this, it just seems like they pay $200 and that's it. Now, the second thing is they have to disclose any ownership in any company that they have an interest in. Okay, so if they own a portion of an LLC or they own that LLC, they have to disclose that they own that business. Now, the next one is going to be background check. If they've ever been convicted of fraud or anything that has to do with unethical behavior or crimes, then they could be disqualified to get a license to begin with. Now that's going to be damaging for a lot of people because in a sense, they look at real estate as a way for financial freedom. And a lot of people were able to get into wholesaling no matter what background you were from. Because of this law being put in place, there's a lot of people that are no longer going to be able to practice wholesaling. Or, they may be doing wholesaling, but they have to do it in other people's names. There are always going to be ways around certain things, but there just have to be another approach to when they're doing business in wholesaling. The fourth one, guys, is going to be you have to have proof of insurance. Now, what kind of insurance? I am not sure. I know that with agents, they have to have insurance as well. Most agents are protected under their brokerage. So, most likely they're going to have to get similar insurance like the agents have when it comes to them doing real estate transactions as well. Now, the fifth one is that every wholesaler, at least 3 days before closing, have to provide the seller with a bill of rights. And that's basically saying that they have to give them a way of being able to pull up fair market value for their house. They have to know that they can hire an agent to list their property and all that stuff as well. So that to me is kind of crazy, but that's also a conversation that you should be having when you're qualifying that seller to begin with. When you're talking to that seller, you should be asking them, well, why are you not listing your property with an agent? Those are questions that you could ask in the beginning before you even have the house under contract. And the final one is going to be a do not solicit list. Now, homeowners are going to have the ability to sign up to be on this list, so they're not being advertised to by investors or by wholesalers that they want to rent or sell their property. If they don't want to, they cannot call them, they cannot advertise to them. So those are the stipulations that are coming out, guys, with this new laws. But not because this is happening, that means that you're supposed to quit or say, you know what, I don't want to do wholesale anymore because now I have to get a license. Now I have to abide by these rules. No, it's a time for you to step up and actually get in to the business, because it's going to weed out all the bad people that are doing unethical stuff. And it's going to be able for you to come in and leverage yourself properly. Now, there's certain things that you coming into the business, that tips that you could actually do to put yourself on top. The first one is going to be to embrace the change. We have to embrace any changes that are being made. And we know this because we're human beings. We can adapt to anything if we put our minds to it. Not because something is changing, that means that we need to quit and run off or complain. What we need to do is make sure that we follow by the rules and the laws that are set in place, which is the second tip. Be honest. Follow the rules and laws that are set in place so that you can maximize, so that when you're doing business, everybody know that you are ethical, you follow the rules, you follow the laws, and you're honest with everything that you're doing. So you will always have people coming back to you. You'll always have investors buying properties from you. You'll always get referrals, because now that you help somebody, that a distressed seller that was in a financial situation, and now they're referring their friend to you, maybe in a similar situation. Another thing you could do as far as being in wholesaling is, like I mentioned earlier, is knowing your numbers. By knowing your numbers, you can go in and actually negotiate with the seller a fair market value, and at the same time go to an investor and give them a good deal. Knowing those numbers is going to be the difference between you doing a deal and you not doing a deal. So always practice your numbers, especially coming into real estate. Now, the final one is going to be doing double close. And by you doing a double close, that means that you're actually purchasing the property, and then you're going ahead and then you're selling it to the investor. So you're actually going to be the one that's buying the property. And even if you're on the deed for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, what you're doing is basically buying the property directly from the seller and then selling it directly to the investor. So that way you are no longer collecting a fee in a sense, because what you're doing is you're purchasing the property and then you're going ahead and then you're selling it to an investor. Now, you may say, well, George, I don't have the money to go ahead and buy a $50,000 property. Well, what you could do is there's something called a transactional fund. Now, you're going to pay more fees when it comes to that, but now you can do a deal. So guys, with all that said, you just have to adapt. You have to know, that this is not over. It's just the beginning, because now this is happening. You will most likely see it happening in other states, and we have to learn to adapt to the change that's happening. We have to know that we're practicing best practices. We're being honest with our sellers, the people that needs our help, that we're going in and actually helping them and not taking advantage of them. So guys, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you're interested in learning how you could purchase properties with little to no money down, there's gonna be a free guide in the description below. 3 ways you could purchase properties with little to no money out of your pocket. Also, if you're looking for a like-minded community and you want to learn and share your experiences, especially in wholesaling, join our free group. It's called Beginners Real Estate Investing USA. We are always live in that group. We answer questions. Come along and join us in that group. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.